You're listening to Wild Things and Wild Places, a Muley Fanatic Foundation podcast that aims to discuss issues and efforts related to the Muley Fanatic Foundation mission, the conservation of mule deer, furthering the sport of hunting, and sound wildlife management.
Everybody knows I'm a Muley fanatic.
It's time for Wild Things and Wild Places. And here's your guide, Joshua Coursey.
And welcome to another episode of Wild Things in Wild Places. Joining me today, I've got Colter Kinner from Weatherby from Sheridan, Wyoming. Good morning, Colter.
Morning. How we doing today?
Doing well. I assume your country is as dry as our country right now, huh?
It is, and it's dried out quite a bit, and it keeps getting hotter. We need some rains bad.
Boy, we do. If you can do a rain dance and it works for you, let me know the moves, because I'm willing to do it myself.
I don't know if many people want to see me dance, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, same.
In the interest of the wildlife.
In the interest of, a healthy landscape, I'll do it. I'll take one for the team.
There you go.
Hey, Colter, time-sensitive episode, 8 days from now, July 31st, Weatherby in Sheridan, Wyoming, is hosting its second annual Weatherby Film Fest, and I wanted to make sure we could get some information out with enough time for folks could try to plan around this. If they hadn't put this on their calendar, maybe they could give some consideration to carve out a little time and put this on the docket. Of course, Sheridan's a great place to visit, the Bighorn National Forest right there in your backyard. This truly could be something you could plan around, but let's talk specifically about the film festival. Wednesday, July 31st, coming up here in 8 days in Sheridan, Wyoming, second annual. Maybe we need to step back a little bit. What started this last year and the momentum it has to what is going to be this year's show?
Yes, what we really wanted to do is we really wanted to bring the community to get together. We always have a bunch of really cool films that we're excited to premiere, that we're excited to show, and sometimes they get lost in the hustle and bustle. And so we really just wanted to try and create an event that was unique to Weatherby, unique to Sheridan. And so last year we did our first film fest, and it was great, and we had a great time, but we didn't really have a lot of people coming in from around the state. And so this year we decided to try and take it a little broader. And so this year what we've done is we've actually partnered with a number of conservation groups around the state of Wyoming. In fact, 5 different conservation groups, including the Muley Fanatic Foundation. And what we're doing is actually all of our proceeds go to conservation groups. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to bring some of the other participants from around the state in and give them a little bit of light, give them a little funds, but also to use it to spotlight what we think is a really cool event. This year we're doing 4 new films. Again, it starts Wednesday, July 31st at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5. And we're excited to bring as many people over as we can.
Yeah, and this requires a ticket purchase?
It does. So you can get those online. I know Josh has posted some links for us. The Muley Fanatics have posted links, as well as our other groups. And then you can also get a hold of us directly. But those all go online through the Wyo Theater.
All right, the Wyo Theater, the famed Wyo Theater at that. Let's back up just a minute. I want to clarify a couple of things. You've mentioned the 5 conservation groups that are being a part of this, where the proceeds will be to the benefit of these groups. Those include all great groups: Mule Deer Foundation, which I'm a life member of; Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, which I'm an annual member of course, Muley Fanatic Foundation, which I'm a part of; Ducks Unlimited, is that accurate?
That's correct, yep.
And then who's the 5th one? I was trying to remember who the 5th one. Wyoming Wild Sheep Foundation. All right, great. 5 great groups doing great work for conservation. You, as Weatherby, has donated an Alpine CT, which is Weatherby's newest bolt-action rifle platform, the Model 307, to all of these groups. 1 to each of these groups. We've been already raffling ours off. We launched it last week. We're going to give it away at this event. I'm not sure what the other groups are doing, but I assume something similar. Man, this is quite the olive branch from Weatherby to say, here's a $2,200 rifle. We just appreciate you and what you do. Hopefully this will help in your fundraising efforts, and hopefully you can share some love about our film festival. Man, how did that come to be? That's incredible.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It was a model that we really wanted to highlight. The Alpine CT is a great model for a number of reasons, including the fact that it's got a carbon fiber barrel. It's got a Peak 44 Bastion stock. Both of those are $850 a piece. And then the action itself is $750. It's a model that we're really excited about. It's one of our hottest sellers right now, but it's also something that we wanted to promote. But more importantly, we thought it would be a great way to raise money for conservation. And so what we've done is we've donated one of these rifles to each of the groups. They each come with their own unique floor plate. It's 4 different calibers. The Muley Fanatic rifle, for example, is a 6.5 300 Weatherby. So it's 4 different calibers, 5 different rifles, and we're giving them all away that night. So whether you get your tickets from Muley Fanatics now, they're already on sale, or if you're able to come to the event, to come in and buy tickets, all of those proceeds go to conservation.
Yeah, we appreciate that greatly. We have not determined. We have a board meeting coming up on August 13th. We haven't determined exactly where those proceeds will be allocated, but just the fact that you were willing to do that and how that has come to be, hats off to you. Thank you for that. We're certainly humbled, but certainly gracious as well. It's a beautiful rifle. This is a fairly new launch, this rifle. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We launched the 307 last year. The purpose of the rifle more generally was just to take a place between our Vanguard and our Mark V, which are closed systems. We see a lot of place in the industry right now for guys that are playing Legos with their rifles. And so we built this action. It's the first new action, Weatherby action in 50 years, on a Remington 700 style platform. And part of that's just because there's aftermarket part availability. But that we launched just over a year ago now. And this is one of 2 of our newest models. The Alpine CT is a real special rifle, and they shoot unbelievably well. I actually just bought one for my dad. He got his first big elk tag in 30 years, and that's the rifle that I chose for him to hunt. So it's something that we're not only excited about just at the company level, but on the individual level, we're all fired up about this rifle.
Oh, that's very cool. Where's your dad hunting at?
Oh, I don't know if I want to say out loud.
Wyoming, right? Wyoming.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the state there somewhere.
Oh, that's cool.
A little bit between you and I.
Okay, there you go. That leaves a lot of room. Oh, that'll be fun. Good. I'm glad you get to have that experience with your dad, and I'm glad he was willing to let you pick out a rifle. I would think when your son works for Weatherby, you're going to maximize that.
Right, for sure. No, we're excited.
Speaking of Weatherby, obviously well documented, the big move to Sheridan a number of years back. We're looking forward to coming to the film festival and then also seeing the facility. Things going well in Sheridan for Weatherby?
Yeah, things are actually fantastic. We celebrated our 5th anniversary on June 13th. We have over 130 employees working our tails off. So it's keeping us really busy. California was great for what it was, and Weatherby will always have a rich and proud history in California, but it was time to make the move out west. And I personally couldn't be happier about the move. I'm from Sheridan, so I lucked out a little bit. But Weatherby has actually been able to hire over 80 or so people from Sheridan and the surrounding area. So it's been good for the community, but it's also been good for Weatherby. We're working hard to ensure that our best days are ahead of us. So whether it's our engineering department or machining department or rifle assembly or the stock decorating department, we're all working our tails off to make a quality product something that we're proud of, but ultimately something that hopefully people in the market see as innovative and that ultimately shoot well and shoot great and then can be passed down from generation to generation in keeping with the rich Weatherby history.
Yeah, speaking of history, the history with Weatherby is very rich. I'm curious, Colter, staying on top of your game, staying innovative, staying ahead of the latest trends or being timely with keeping up with latest trends. I would assume that is a major function within Weatherby with their R&D department or if your marketing department, etc. I would think that the moving parts to just be in the place that Weatherby has earned over its history takes a ton of effort, and there's a lot that goes into that. When you talk about innovation and being able to continue to be a leader within the industry, what's new? What's in the think tank that maybe you can drop a hint to, that something that might be on the horizon?
Yeah, definitely. We're always looking for something new and creative and something that we're evaluating the market and looking and seeing where things are going. And we definitely want to be on that cutting edge. I'm taking a brief step back. One of the things that Adam always says is that when the market goes stale or flat, there are 2 things that you can do. You can either discount or you can innovate. And I think that there's a lot of truth to that. And I also think that we're not a cheap gun company and we're not here to make cheap stuff. We're a quality gun company. And so we really pride ourselves on that innovation. And it's something that we can all, it resonates with a lot of us around here, is that we want to make newer and cooler stuff. And so I think that's where a lot of that comes from. But it's right now, without dropping any major leads, we've actually got 2 new releases next month. We've got a shotgun release this month, so pay attention here, coming on the 31st. We've got a new shotgun addition to our Sorex family. I can't give you too many details. But then in our rifles, we've got 2 new rifles coming out next month. We'll have an addition to the 307 line, and in addition to the Mark V line. And while I can't really get into the specifics, I wish I could. I wish I could drop some hints here or give you the inside scoop, so to speak. But a lot of that is seeing trends in the market. And so one of them in particular, we're looking at the market and seeing like, what do guys want? And we're also, as hunters, what do we want? So we're seeing a lot of stuff with carbon fiber barrels are taking a really strong presence in the market. A lot of that is because of the harmonics of the barrels. They ultimately shoot really well. And then we're also seeing some guys want some shorter barrels. A lot of us, myself included, hunt suppressed around here. And when you've got a 26-inch barrel with a 6 or 8 inch can on the end of it, it creates quite a lot when you're walking through the woods, walking past trees and stuff like that. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. So we're seeing a lot more shorter barrels in use in the market. And so we're looking at stuff like that and developing products that we think is cool, both functional. A lot of our keystones right now are lightweight hunting rifles, but also rifles that take those things into account and then ultimately shoot really well. If a rifle doesn't shoot well, what's its worth? It could be the lightest rifle in the world, but if it doesn't shoot great, there's no point. And so we have to balance all those things. But we take great pride in it. And it's actually a lot of fun between product development and the engineers and then coming into marketing. And it's a real team effort here. And we take great pride in that.
Yeah, you certainly do it well, and our hats off to you for that, Colter. I'm curious, specific to calibers, when you talk about trends, a few years ago, the 6.5 Creedmoor seemed like it was the hottest thing on the market. Here of late, of course, seems to me like I hear a lot more folks right now talking about the 7 PRC. What are you seeing from an industry standpoint, and how do you adjust to that, and how do you stay where you can be front and center on that?
Yeah, definitely. So that's really a delicate balance, and it's really hard to do. Weatherby's very proud of its own cartridges, and so we hope that we're ultimately leading in terms of our own product development as well, cartridge development for a long time. While we're seeing the resurgence of the 6.5 Creedmoor, or the growth of the 6.5 Creedmoor, which was by far and away the most dominant caliber on the market for a long time there. You saw cartridges like our 6.5 RPM or the 6.5 PRC take off and really grab hold. We also have our 6.5 300. And in places like that, what we focus on is typically the ballistics. Faster, flatter, hits harder is Weatherby's thing and always has been. But yeah, you're right. I think in terms of the market now, I go to most of the conservation shows this year, and I would guess that probably at least 7, maybe 8 out of every 10 people that came up and talked to us this year were asking for the 7 PRC. It's by far and away the hottest caliber right now on the market today. The 7 PRC is reigning supreme right now. And so what we've done is we've added it to all 3 of our rifle lines. And then it's a late addition to the Vanguard line. The Vanguard line, the barreled actions are made in Japan by Hoa, but it's something that we've added to because we see its presence in the market and it's not going anywhere. So it's definitely a balance, seeing what the market dictates and then also trying to find a place to fit our cartridges in and make the case for our cartridges too, because we feel like there's a strong argument to be made for them.
On the film festival, the rifles that you have given to all of the conservation groups and the proceeds to go back to conservation with those group efforts, the different calibers, you mentioned 4 different calibers. I know the one that we have is the 6.5 300 Weatherby. What are the other calibers?
Yeah, Ducks Unlimited has a 300 Win Mag. Wyoming Wild Sheep has a Weatherby 257. And then both Wyoming Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and Wyoming Mule Deer Foundation chose to go with the 7 PRC.
Okay, great. Yeah, terrific. So a good variety. Folks can participate. Certainly at the film, you'll be able to participate in all of the offerings of all 5 rifles given to all 5 groups. You may be able to research some of those other groups. Maybe they've launched, or maybe Colter. Are some of them already available, or are they just event only?
Yeah, I know for sure Ducks Unlimited, Wyoming Ducks Unlimited is raffling theirs off. They've got an online raffle going, so go seek that out. I'm not sure about the other groups, but it's worth, if nothing else, shooting them a message and saying, hey, is there any way I could get some tickets?
Okay, for sure. And with this podcast, we'll put the link. If you're listening to this, you'll be able to go back to the copy or the text and see the link. If you want to participate in the raffle, we're going to give away this rifle the night of the film festival. Again, July 31st. This film festival will be taking place 6 to 9. As Colter said at the beginning, doors will open at 5. You do not have to be present to win the rifle, so you can participate online. And we've set these raffle tickets at $50 a ticket, which is a breath of fresh air because so many of our ticket offerings seem to always revolve around the Benjamin or the $100 mark. So to have a ticket at $50, we've seen a good response already. Let's knock this out of the park. Let's say thanks to Weatherby for their willingness to be a part of this. Colter, let's talk specifically about the films. There will be a number of films that'll be shown, 4 total, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, let's talk about those. I think this is a really unique idea. I think the willingness to be able to host this at the famed Wyo Theater, but then the variety of the films, there's really something for everyone if you look at these films as a whole.
Yeah, there really is. And again, we're excited. We put a lot of time and energy into this, especially from the folks that are lucky enough to get to go on these hunts to our videographers and content managers and our marketing department and putting these films together and stuff. It's some stuff that we're really proud of. And I think it's really cool for them to see a little bit of us, but also a little bit of what's going on in the industry and see a bunch of different scenarios. So what we're doing this year is we're doing 4 different films. So the first one is titled Into the High Country, Chasing Elk Under a Solar Eclipse. And so that one's pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to get any spoilers on that one.
Yeah, don't do that.
But that's the stage. The second one is one that we did in concert with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation called Mending Fences, RMEF Fence Removal Project. And that actually took place just outside of Buffalo, Wyoming, here in the Bighorn National Forest. So we're excited about that. And we're always excited to do projects with conservation groups, and that sort of features that. We don't typically ever really end up filming a lot of that, but that one does, and we're excited about that. The third is In Pursuit, A Tale of Two Sheep Hunts. So last year, both Brenda and Adam were able to go on sheep hunts, and so it goes back and forth on their sheep hunts. And then the last one actually just took place. So our good partners Hushin came out, or they ultimately went with Luke and Tyler up to Alaska on a cast and blast. So it's Hushin's Alaska cast and blast, testing a new Hushin edition rifle. And so I don't want to do any spoilers there, but we've got some exciting stuff coming up at the Film Fest. In fact, Hush is going to be at the Film Fest too, and they've got an exciting announcement that they'll be making there.
Yeah, the Hush crew will be there. And again, this is a never-before-seen film that also probably, I think is fair to say, includes a sweet new product launch, right?
That's right. Yeah,
okay. And we'll leave it at that. Yeah. No. No, this is going to be great. And then, of course, each will be followed by a brief question and answer session, I assume, so folks can engage specific to the film.
Yep, for sure.
All right. And then last but not least, you guys have been running a photo contest, and the winner announcement will be made at the film festival. Is that accurate?
That's correct. Yeah, we're really excited about that. We've had a lot of great pictures come through. So if you're a photographer out there and check it out on our website. There's a link that you can follow, or through even Muley Fanatic's post they did the other day also had a link for it. So upload some of your favorite photos. Unfortunately, I don't have the categories on me, but there's 4 different categories, and to get those photos in and submit early and submit often. You've got 8 days to get your favorite photos in there and win some prizes.
Colter, have we left anything out that folks should be mindful of, or anything else that might be just a little bit of a lure to get folks to want to put this on the calendar and make the effort to come? I know Sheridan can be a haul if you're in Cheyenne, but if you're in Riverton or you're in Sundance or you're in Evanston, Sheridan's a great little town, and you could really plan a trip around this being the reason you're going.
For sure. Yeah, no, we've got great restaurants. The Bighorn Mountains is a 1 million acre playground right here. And ultimately, having our great partners, our conservation partners all there is something that's also important. We want to feature them as much as humanly possible. So if anybody's in the area and interested, looking for something to do, stop on down. It'll be a great night. Get the community together, get excited, get pumped up for hunting season. And then again, all proceeds go to conservation, which is really the key here. As I always like to say, what good's a hunting company without hunters? And ultimately at Weatherby, we take that to heart, and we're strongly committed to conservation in every way that we can. And this is just one of the ways that we're able to give back. And it's so important for us, but hopefully, ultimately, it benefits our state in the long run.
Couldn't have said it better, Colter. Yeah, don't miss this unique celebration of hunting, adventure, and conservation. Some great prizes, some great interaction, some great networking. And again, kudos to you and the Weatherby team for the 5 conservation groups. Thanks for including us. All 5 groups doing great work. Again, Mule Deer Foundation, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Ducks Unlimited, Wyoming Wild Sheep Foundation, and Muley Fanatic Foundation. We do appreciate that. This is bold, and this is what we do in Wyoming. These are the type of things that just sometimes just organically happen, and we're grateful for it. So, Colter, thanks for your time. Looking forward to seeing you. This is going to be a great event, and we're going to get this sent out and hopefully get a lot of traction with this. And let's pack the house at the Wyo Theater next Wednesday, July 31st from 6 to 9. there in Sheridan, Wyoming, the second annual Weatherby Film Festival. Colter, thank you, buddy.
Thank you. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate all that you and Muley Fanatics do.
Likewise. Thank you. Glad to be a partner with you and glad to be in that arena and doing things for conservation.
And that wraps up another episode of Wild Things and Wild Places. But remember, the journey doesn't end here. Make sure you never miss out by subscribing. Whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, streaming us on our website, or following us on social media, subscribing is the best way to stay connected. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more wild episodes.
Everybody knows I'm a Muley Fanatic.